Welcome to this live stream. The void beckons. So I was inspired fully by that to do this reading. And so I feel called to firstly only pull from the intuitive tarot deck. And when pulling cards, I am pulling for the intention to find out more about what this void has for us. It feels a little bit intense, and very much like how the void usually plays out. In my opinion, from what I've seen, it plays out in emotional upheaval, grief, often death, especially with the way it's been playing out since Scorpio season of 2025, but also timeless intention for my readings. The void begins with a very huge reason to grieve, and death is normally the thing. And Morning Pearl, remembrance of deep pains from the past. That's how the void also shows up in my life, where you revisit things in a deeply emotional way that you didn't think you would do again, where it's like that where it feels like it's the first time it's happening. I think that with those waves also comes the opportunity to observe your pain from a different lens. That's why it comes in the way that it does. So the way I see it, it goes, so the pain, the void, the depression, the sadness, the anxiety, or whatever emotional vulnerability that feels extra sensitive comes in cycles, and in the quantity it comes in, the quantity that it comes in those cycles also come in cycles. So it'll come small, then it'll come big, then it'll come bigger, and then you'll heal from it, or you'll just ascend to the next level. Then it will happen again, where it comes in small, then it comes in big, then it comes in bigger. You know what I mean? So this feels like we're at the bigger part of the void experience. It feels like we've been cruising. We really enjoyed okay, let me speak for myself. I enjoyed the experiences of Capricorn and Sag season. It was all it felt super empowering. With what I'm feeling settling in Aquarius season, way of looking at things, there could be plenty of understandings as to what we're all processing right now. I'm just presenting my lens. So with this comes the pain of feeling like a victim from situations that happen in your life that just happened, Nothing that happened according to something that was a consequence of your actions or a consequence of even someone else's actions. Just sometimes really crazy random shit happens, and it pushes you to feel a certain way that triggers your victimhood and your shame and your guilt and da-da-da-da. So all processing work. So the question for why I'm shuffling will be what this period of void or tunnel has for us. Obviously, these things also happen. I love to say obviously. These things also happen in like clusters, so that there will be a group of people who aren't going through it, and there will be a group of people who are, but also tying into the fact that we will handle this very, very differently. And we're all each very different. So if this doesn't resonate with you, then this is not for you. Wow, guys, isn't that crazy as the opening card? So the thing about death as well that I feel called to mention, as I'd mentioned earlier, and how the void begins, and as I actually forgot, which is the obvious, this is the reason for the void, right? It's death of the ego and death of what you knew previously, and a complete washing away of, I'm imaging you being a plant with your vines rooted inside, when the void comes, it picks at your roots. It picks them, pulls them all out so that now you're just suspended. Oh, yes, Destiny's used this in one of her readings before, Queen Cup Tarot. She used the example of what happens when you have to move a plant from a small pot into a bigger one. That moment of suspension that the plant experiences when it's not in either pot, it's just naked with all of its veins, just chilling out there. Hey, Puppy Cave, no, you can't. This isn't one of those readings. It's a collective one. Let's see. What more? Oh my gosh. Okay. 3 cards, fine. We have the World. We have the King of Discs. We have the Hierophant. Again. We have the Moon. So previously we had the Page of Discs. I didn't think that mattered too much because it connected with the page state that you tend to be in when you die. But this, the moon, guys, wow. Hey, this moon cycle is going to be so serious. Or rather, let me say what I said previously. The moon is going to start being so important to us. It's such an easy tool. It's right there, and it happens so often. She happens so often. It's so nice. Anyway. Man, what can I even say? Because I'm also going through it. Today, I feel very, very afraid and very, very vulnerable. And very much like I'm trying to refine this part of myself in my body, the part of grounding, the part that feels like, the part that feels self-assured and confident in my abilities and in who I am. Yeah. And needing to do all of that from a place of the unseen. My eyes have to be closed. I have to be in this state of suspension. I have to accept and it's a real struggle for me to hold these states of personal or ego suspension, especially because I can feel the sense of ungroundedness. I can feel how the King of Discs within me does not feel grounded or rich or sustained or confident or anything. Refining this in myself, working on my mind's programmings to consistently remind me of the divine connection that I always have with the universe, even when I'm not aware of it, even in moments when I feel afraid and vulnerable and like I'm not showing up to my work, my life work. It's really difficult. It's been very, very difficult. I feel so uncomfortable and open. Yeah, like a gazelle in the wild. That's how I feel right now. What do I feel actually? Because I feel like we've visited these themes so often with the amount of times that the Hierophant has appeared in my readings for about the past week now, which is insane. I do readings every day, and literally like 90% of the time I get the Hierophant across the decks I've been using, which is mental. It's so crazy to remember that it's true and that it's real and that it speaks to us, it's communicating to us. And seems to be communicating right now the importance of relying and the importance of learning how to rely on the unseen, learning how to give respect to those worlds, and really, 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 really trust that they've got it down. There's other things going on. There are other things going on, and they've got it down. So scary. Part of what gets me very sensitive today is processing grief, death, and how sometimes it will happen that, and I've been sitting on this a lot, it will happen that whoever is the chosen one to die whenever it is that death meets them, it will also have a lot to do, and I hold this card up for the ancestral significance or symbolism that this card gives to me. Sometimes it's that okay, specifically from my experience this morning, I woke up to news of someone who passed on. I wasn't aware of them, but I took in their face and I immediately felt the sense of their ancestors call them back home. And sometimes that has to happen. Or it happens through that, or through the understanding, as I was trying to mention earlier, everywhere today, that sometimes people they die and they become a spirit because their spirit form will be more useful to you as the grieving person. It's very comforting to think of things that way, especially when you're going through something like parental or death of somebody who you really, really cared about and who really helped you through life. Thinking about it in the sense that now in their spirit form, they will be able to be more helpful to you. Yeah, it's very helpful to me to think of things that way. Different perspectives are also feeling necessary, but specifically the perspective of the inside, of the within, and getting a clear sense of what that inner voice is saying, and trusting that inner voice even when you are very, very afraid. I hope that you have a clear sense of what your inner voice is saying. It feels like all of our inner voices are very forthright about their presence. And with the King of Dis, it's also giving that our inner voices are forthright specifically about how we go about our material world. This is again tying into people who may have intuitive senses about changing career paths, resigning, just doing something crazy that has to do with your material well-being. It's probably, it's for a reason. I'll say that much. You'll decide. But all of these senses are for a reason. Everything right now is happening for a very intense reason, very freeing reason. I beg your pardon, the world. This is also giving that idea of the generational, not just generational, but the soul contracts that, and I've been saying this often as well, the soul contracts, the contracts that your soul came to satisfy. There are certain things that are written, likely has to do with, like I mentioned, your generational curse. But sometimes looking at it from the lens of a generational curse can feed into the victimhoodness of your experience, and it can make you feel like unlucky or kind of like you're trapped, But if you look at it from the sense of how it's all just, it's by design, it's by soul's design. Again, something that helps me so often and something that's been such a blessing from God, honestly. It's so crazy how it happens and aligns. Every time I find myself in the void, there is some new information that my fave geophysicist, Stefan Burns, comes out with about the astronomical weather, or I'll come across a very amazing conversation on the internet about consciousness that really brings me back to this sense, and that'll remind me that it's all intentional, even the experience of the void and how you experience the dips and the vulnerabilities and the discomfort of change. Now I feel called to read the interpretation of death. This is also the season where people fall ill, so beware of that. Look after your immune system and your bodies and your health. And it's also the season of exhaustion. This does take a lot of energy out of you, this kind of internal transformation. And it's especially exhausting, guys, when these things happen on the unseen levels, and then you can't tell anyone. And then people ask you how you are, and you can't even, I'm this. That's how I feel right now. If I could answer it that way, it would make life so easy. Anyway, stripping the ego away to allow the birth of a new self, death of an old life or values, change either voluntarily or enforced, necessary endings to let in the new, experiencing the sensual power of death, mortality, time passing, the inexorable approach of death. I don't know if I finished my thought earlier to watch out for your energy levels and don't be so hard on yourself if you find that you are exhausted. And then experiencing the sensual power of death jumped out to me in the sensation of grief. If you've felt it from, if you've had to grieve over somebody who grieve over somebody whose death makes you genuinely affects your reality. You spoke to them, that thing where you can say, but I spoke to them yesterday. So that kind of death can be very sensual in how painful it can be. It's like how, if you haven't heard about how the pain of giving birth can reach this point of sensational bliss that feels very freeing in the moment that you're experiencing it. You have to be open to it, obviously, and it also depends on, God willing, how untraumatic your birth experience is, because birth is generally very traumatic. But anyway, feeling the sensation of freedom. And I honestly believe that this happens on an energetic level, where it is that the love that you have for this person who has passed on, it was so huge, and they had it for you too. So when they die, it doesn't just poof away. It becomes, and I believe it meets you, and it's part of, it sucks, but it's like a hidden blessing behind grieving when someone close to you dies. Their love, the way that your love interacts with their love now that they're dead is just, yeah. I don't know how else to explain it. And only those who know. But it also comes with, and I'm seeing beneath the deck, you have the Three of Swords peeking out. It comes with deep, deep, deep pain. It's so painful. It's so painful. My heart is with anybody who is going through that right now. Like I said, I woke up this morning on social media seeing part of Joburg's creative industry grieving a sudden death, and yeah. So anyway, be open to that. Be open to experiencing pain as a sensual, or maybe do some research, or read up or follow on people who are BDSM advocates. They have a view and understanding. They get this. They're very good at this, actually. Very, very good at this. It caught my interest back when I researched it, and when I was in the throes of going through the deep waves of this. It helps to see different people's perspectives. Death of an old life or values also feels very important, because he is a king of values and tradition. So there's something there that's changing for real. I was also getting the very light, because this is also deeply spiritual and intense, but the light thing is, consider changing your career path. Consider the fact that your job is dead, right? That's also a very deep void exploration, because of how you have to grapple with what you're choosing. You're walking two paths. You're basically walking two paths, and you have to choose between the one of like material security, which provides a freedom of its own, or the one of like the real freedom, the scary kind. It is very scary to know. It's very scary to not know when your next income or when your next paycheck will come. It is crazy. It's a crazy sensation, but it's worth it. As somebody who's like really dove straight into this, especially with how I've been beckoned by my own ideas of the Hierophant, spiritual work, it's all really called me to focus fully on it so passionately that nothing interferes with that. And I'm really willing to sacrifice even a sense of materials, even a sense of internal security, because I feel totally, like I said, totally out of whack right now. I do not feel like this, but hopefully you do. And if you are still trying to climb towards the sense of it, a sense of freedom, sense of being able to release the old, let in the new, then you can trust that the moon will be important, the full moon. I'm very excited. It feels like it's going to be a huge release in a way. It's happening in tropical Leo, and I feel like it's going to happen in sidereal, but it might not also. I don't know. Anyway, point is, with it happening in tropical Leo, helps in understanding the angle of how Leos are so expressive with their love and they're so naturally light. And I've been studying them a lot. I love them. I love Leos. I love you if you're a Leo. Your joy and your expansiveness is very deeply transformative for me. It was a deep teacher. I hated it at first. It was very unsettling. But now I understand you guys really know what this is. Leos really know how to be light, but it's because they really appreciate themselves. They know how to love themselves. If you're asking about the full moon, it's happening on the 2nd of Feb. And yeah, thank you for asking that question because I was rearing off. I think with that full moon will come the sensation of this, depending on obviously where it happens in your chart. But I think that the energy of Leo is something we all deserve to know at least once in our life what it feels like. And I think it might come with with this one. Even if you do a ritual and burn a piece of paper or whatever, and specifically intend on releasing so that you can be free, releasing for the sake of freedom, and also I'm feeling for the sake of self-assurance and self-confidence and a release of shame. I've been doing that work for a very long time now. It feels like it never ends, but it's been very, very, very helpful for me. There's so much shame stored in us, especially as Black people, especially as Black women. Anyway, I think I'm going to pull for one more card as a way forward, practical way forward. Although I do think that with the presence of these two, the way forward is obvious, is to just keep going. I'm also receiving that you're clearly doing something right. You're doing something well, rather, let me say. Yeah. The presence of these two cards is wisdom. Yes, and the world, wisdom. I'm also receiving a willingness, like I do feel like I'm likely reading for people who are willing to change and release and become anew. And it's a matter of honestly just waiting these changes out. But I'm just so tired of waiting. I feel so tired of being in this. I don't know what's happening. But I'm grateful for all the moments that, so we're in the void now. But a few days ago, it definitely didn't feel this way to me. And it's not even, I would honestly charge it to a personal experience if I weren't observing the people around me and if I weren't like chronically online. So it does feel like this sense of feeling that's been coming in waves since around the new moon recently on the 19th. It was so beautiful. It feels so beautiful. Yes, exactly. I'm tired of being tired too. I do think these waves of not feeling tired and feeling connected, it's there, it's available. Yeah, but honestly, I wanted to say it takes whatever. I just feel like we know what it takes by now. We just know. It's not like we are amateurs in this journey. But sometimes it really feels with the way the void visits and everything, it feels like we go right back to stage one. Well, we do. We know we do. But when we do, it's so like, ugh, again. Okay, yeah, let's see. Please give us some upliftment or some kind of like, interesting. We have the sweet. Okay, we have the 7 of discs in reverse. Thank you. And then the star beneath the deck. Thank you. These two together is really lovely. I think that maybe collectively we just have a hard time really being ourselves and accepting ourselves for like everything. Even when we're feeling fucked up, if only we had a little voice inside of us that was always going, without us having to do the work, that was always going, you're okay, you're fine. Whatever you're choosing to do right now is perfect. Just relax. Yes, do whatever you want. Are you happy? Do you feel good? What can you do to make yourself feel good? And then as you're doing it, yes, keep going. Feel good. Woohoo. Like, we just need, a little crowd cheering us on. Yeah, that's also giving what's coming for the full moon, because Leos always have an internal auditorium of people constantly cheering them on, laughing at all of their jokes and thinking they're amazing. We should be doing that too. Let's discover, explore what the Seven of Discs in reverse has to say, and then I'll close it. We have an ability to galvanize yourself into activity, inertia, lack of motivation, leading to a deep sense of purposelessness, even shame. Unacknowledged problems may be surfacing, leading to feelings of exhaustion, lack of enthusiasm, or anxiety that expresses itself as inertia. The void, typical. Really sweet. We have the Queen of Discs. So beneath, we have the Star, then we have the Queen of Discs. Then we have the Six of Discs. The Six of Swords. And then we have the One of Cups. But I'm also even tired of reading on this potential romance energy, because that too, But also, truly, I hope we still are all tapped into that. into ultimately the fact that we're on the right track. Yeah. We are exactly where we are meant to be. Every moment is perfect and under divine guidance. Be willing to turn on, we have to keep working to turn on that inner wisdom voice to keep reminding us of that thing that I just said. Every moment is baby. But also, at the same time, I think, like I mentioned, we should just try to accept ourselves more often. Sometimes we're going to feel so fucking tired and so frustrated, and things are going to be shit, and we won't be able to do much. And that'll be just part of life. It's just part of it. As long as we can keep hopeful. Yeah, I love to ask that question a lot. Because that's what actually matters most. Can you see a sense of, of like you can keep going? Are there still things that can make you happy? Can you still feel? Very important. Can you still feel? Are you still able to listen to your favorite song and enjoy dancing to it? Are there still things that you like to do, even if they make you feel incrementally better? As long as there's just little things, just keep holding on to those little things. Yeah, I think clearance will come around the 2nd. Until then, we will just be in this, which is part of it. Anyway, I think that's all I have. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope it was helpful. It's always helpful for me to do these readings. It really is. I love what comes up. I love how I'm able to process everything that I say as I say it. And I love the presence of other people, letting me know what they think, Thank you. I send you all of my love during this time. And I'll see you in the next